Scientists have indicated how close the world is to global catastrophe using something called the Doomsday Clock.
Have you ever wondered how close we are to the end of the world? Well, there is a group of experts who have been keeping track of that for over 70 years. They are called the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, and they use a symbol called the Doomsday Clock to represent the likelihood of a human-made global catastrophe. The closer the clock is to midnight, the closer we are to doom. And right now, the clock is at its most dire level ever, 90 seconds to midnight.
The so-called Doomsday Clock has remained set at 90 seconds before midnight in its new update.
In this episode, we will understand Doomsday Clock. The Doomsday Clock was first created in 1947, after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, by a group of scientists who had worked on the Manhattan Project, the secret project that developed the first nuclear weapons. They wanted to warn the public and the leaders of the world about the dangers of nuclear war and the need for disarmament and peace. They chose a clock as a metaphor for the urgency of the problem and set it at 7 minutes to midnight, indicating that we had little time left to act. Since then, the clock has been adjusted 25 times, depending on the state of the world and the threats to humanity. The clock has been moved backward and forward, reflecting periods of hope and despair. The farthest time from midnight was 17 minutes in 1991, after the end of the Cold War and the signing of the first Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. The nearest time to midnight was 90 seconds in 2023, and again in 2024 due to the escalating war in Ukraine, the nuclear brinkmanship of Russia, the climate crisis, and the emergence of new and disruptive technologies. Why the clock is at 90 seconds to midnight? The war in Ukraine is one of the main reasons why the clock is at 90 seconds to midnight. The conflict began in 2014, when Russia annexed Crimea and supported separatist rebels in eastern Ukraine, violating the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. The war has killed over 13,000 people and displaced millions more. It has also raised the risk of a nuclear confrontation, as Russia has threatened to use nuclear weapons if NATO intervenes or if Ukraine joins the alliance. Russia has also brought its war to the Chernobyl and Zaporizhzhia nuclear reactor sites, violating international protocols and risking widespread release of radioactive materials. The war in Ukraine has undermined the global order and the norms of international conduct that are essential for addressing other global challenges, such as climate change, cyber attacks, bioweapons, and artificial intelligence. The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists warns that the world is in a state of unprecedented danger, and that the possibility that the conflict could spin out of anyone's control remains high. The Doomsday Clock is not a prophecy, but a warning. It is a reminder that we have the power and the responsibility to shape our future and to prevent the worst from happening. We can do this by demanding that our leaders and governments work together to resolve the conflict in Ukraine and to reduce the nuclear threat. We can also do this by taking action in our own lives and communities to combat climate change and to promote social justice and human rights. We can also support the work of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists and other groups that educate and advocate for a safer and more sustainable world. The Doomsday Clock is not a countdown to doom, but a countdown to action. We have 90 seconds to midnight, but we also have 90 seconds to make a difference. Let's use them wisely. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, please show your support by hitting the like button, sharing this video with your friends, and subscribing to Metahub Discovery for more amazing content. Thank you, and see you next time.